report came out that said that the Consumer Confidence Index was down to 25. Sometimes I think that might be overly optimistic, but nevertheless, I think that vote of confidence really is a reflection on our financial system, our monetary policy, our spending policies here in Congress, and then they see it in the economy. But it is fundamental for us to understand this, because if we think we can patch a system up that failed, it's not going to work. We have to come to the realization that there is a sea change in what's happening. This is an end of an era, and that we can't reinflate the bubble. Just as we devised a new system of Bretton Woods in '44, which was doomed to fail, it failed in '71, and then we came up with the dollar reserve standard, which was a paper standard. It was doomed to fail, and we have to recognize that it has failed. And if we think we can reinflate this bubble by artificially creating credit out of thin air and calling it capital, believe me, we don't have a prayer of solving these problems. We have a total misunderstanding of what credit is versus capital. Capital can't come from the thin air creation by a Federal Reserve System. Capital has to come from savings. We have to work hard, produce, live within our means, and what is left over is called capital. This whole idea that we can recapitalize markets by merely turning on the printing presses and increasing credit is a total fallacy. So the sooner we wake up to realize that a new system has to be devised, the better. Right now, I think the central bankers of the world realize exactly what I'm talking about, and they're planning. But they're planning another system that goes one step further to internationalize regulations, internationalize the printing press, give up on the dollar standard, but we have to be very much aware that that system will be no more viable. We have to have a system which encourages people to work and to save. What do we do now? We're telling consumers to spend and continue the old process. It won't work.
The gentleman from Delaware, Mr. Castle, is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Ranking Member Backus, and I want to thank you for holding today's hearing and to thank...
All right, this is not going as planned.
No, it is not.
We were told it would be a very limited number of opening statements. And it seems to be getting out of control.
Here's what we forgot. Everybody's taking this live. And you know what that means? Why would they miss an opportunity for free airtime?
All right,
Guess
so
what? We're taking a break.
We're going to take a commercial break, get them out of the way so that when something really substantive is happening, we don't have to interrupt then. We'll be right back.
Past year, we have done a lot to stimulate the economy, and not much has happened. In the last 12 months, the national debt has gone up $1.5 trillion. And if you add up what we have spent in the Congress plus what you have injected and guaranteed, it's over $9 trillion, and nothing seems to be helping. But I think our problems start a lot sooner than just last year. I believe they really started in the year 2000, and we were able to, with the help of the Federal Reserve and some housing programs, to re-inject and to once again inflate the bubble. But the market really never recovered. True job growth never existed in the past 8 or 9 years. And now we're suffering the consequences because it's a failed policy and it's not working at all. And we don't change anything. If we got in this trouble because we had low interest rates, getting businessmen and savers to do the wrong thing, just doing more of the wrong thing continuously, I can't see how this is going to be helpful. My question to you, Mr. Chairman, is this. What will it take for you to say to yourself, could I be wrong? You know, what if I'm mistaken? You know, how long is this going to go on? $9 trillion? What if, say, in 5 years from now, we're in a deep, deep slump with your definition of inflation? What if we have high prices going and the economy is very, very weak and unemployment is high? Would you say to yourself then, boy, maybe I really messed up. Maybe I was on the wrong track. Maybe the free market people were right. Maybe Keynes was wrong. Would you ever consider that, or are you absolutely locked into your beliefs?
I'm always open to changing my mind when the facts change, absolutely.
I mean, first of all, I agree with you about credit and liquidity. The Federal Reserve has the capacity to provide liquidity against short-term lending against collateral. We cannot provide capital. We understand the distinction, and that's why the TARP and these other programs have been important. Obviously, the best kind of capital is private capital, and that's the objective, is to get the financial system in a condition. About the asset positions of the banks, we need sufficient capital. We need sufficient liquidity. We need to take other steps to ensure regulatory oversight is appropriate. We are working along we're not completely in the dark. We're working along so we're not making it up. We know broadly speaking what needs to be done. Now, of course, if it doesn't work, we'll have to ask ourselves why not, and to address it with other approaches. But we do have a plan here, and I think it's going to work if it's applied consistently.
But you don't think there's any point where you might say, maybe we went the wrong direction? I mean, what would have to happen for you to do that? Is there anything?
I'm telling you, Congressman, I don't believe we'll have an inflation problem in terms of consumer prices. If that turns out to be wrong, then I will concede that.
Some people, some people think the Depression ended when World War II started. And, of course, others believe it never ended until the end of World War II, when all the bad debt and the malinvestment was liquidated and consumer demands returned. Do you adhere to the fact that the Depression ended?
The gentleman's time has expired.
You used up some of my time, remember?
But who did?
No,
they start when you start.
Big brother is watching.